Hi. um, I'm Micah, by the way, to those who don't know. So I'm teaching on the fourth teaching from Passion Camp by Levi Lusko called Run Towards the War. I mean, the roar, like of a lion. Um, so he started off his teaching by talking about how if you were given like the uniform of a scuba diver, you would see like a dry suit and like a little scuba thing, and you would know, okay, I'm gonna get in water. And if you're given the uniform of a firefighter, you'd see the suit and the axe, and you know you're gonna go into a fire. So, as a Christian, our uniform that they give us is the armor of God. And if you see this armor of God, you know that the Christian walk isn't in a playground, it's in a war zone. So, Lauren did a great job talking about a lot of the armor of God. So I'll be talking about the boots of the gospel and the shield of faith. So traditionally, back in the day with the Romans and all those people, they had standard boots that they would wear into war, which were like sandals with a little leather strap around them and a shin guard made out of metal. But the most important thing about them were the spikes on the bottom of them. The spikes like cleats that dug into the ground and gave you traction when you walked, and foundations that you wouldn't fall over when you're in a battle. So spiritually, that gives us our spiritual foundation in God and our identity. And the way that the devil tries to knock you off your balance and make you forget your identity is by making you doubt yourself and the things that God say to you. So, um, but we know, that through God, and we know that all of his things that he says are true, and we know that we can't be shaken by the enemy if we have his firm foundation and his spikes that are keeping us in the ground so that we won't be shaken when the enemy comes. And we need to know that the lies are lies before they can get to us. We need to know the truth before the lies can come from the enemy. Um, because if we don't know that the lies are lies and what the truth is, then we can never know what God has called us to do. Um, and the way we find our identity and the way we know the truth is through the gospel and the story of Jesus and how he lived and died for us because he loved us so much. And our identity is that we're a loved child of Jesus because he died for us. And a lot of Christians, when they first get into Jesus and start coming to church, they think, oh yeah, the gospel, the story of God, it's the ABCs of Christianity, not give me the real stuff. But what we know is that the gospel isn't the ABCs, it's the A through Z. That the gospel is Christianity, not just a part of it. Okay. So now the shield of faith. So obviously, a shield is to protect you, from like arrows and stuff. But what they did way back then is they would have their shields covered in leather, like a leather covered shield. And in the mornings or before they go to battle, they would soak their shield in water because the enemy would shoot fiery arrows at them. But their leather soaked shields would put out the fires of the enemy. So, what that means is that we need to soak our shields inside of God's water every morning. So when the arrows of the enemy, the flaming arrows, come at us, we can block them and we can know that God is protecting us. So then, Levi told us that with the boots and the shield, you need traction and protection to be able to move forward in a battle. And he gave us this analogy of a bicycle. So he said that there's all these people saying, God, use me, and they're on their bike, he's steering. He's like, God, use me, steer me in the right direction. But then Levi said that you can't be steered in the right direction if you're not pedaling to go. And he said that the pedals represent obedience. And if you're not obeying what God is telling you to do and where he's telling you to go, then him steering you will do nothing because you're not going to go anywhere. Okay. And then he started talking about lions, which is where he gets the title Run to the Roar. And he told us about how lions, one of their tactics to catch prey is to have one lion like go near like a gazelle or something and roar. And then the animal would run the other way, but they didn't know that there's an ambush of lions waiting for them. And he said that if we run away from the roar of God, then we're running towards danger. And if we're not running towards God's obedience and what he tells us to do, then we're running away from our destiny and our purpose. Okay. And then the last thing he said was that resistance equals importance. So you might not want to go toward the roar because you're scared or because you don't know what's over there. But that's what makes it all the better, because resistance equals importance. It's easy to sit on your couch and binge watch your favorite show, eat a tub of ice cream. But when it comes to Sunday mornings, you're waking up so early, you want to go back to sleep. But that's the resistance that he's telling us about. Resistance equals importance. Because imagine if you weren't here at church. You wouldn't be getting all these awesome, amazing words from everyone. So the way that I saw this, after you said it, it was the same night, and we were inside of our room, our hotel room, and my dad was talking to all of us, and it was maybe 11, and everyone was starting to fall asleep in the room, and then he said, hold on. How many of you, go to bed on a regular basis past 12? And then almost everyone raised their hand. And then he said, what if surprise you that it's barely 11? And they're all like, what? So he was saying, this is the resistance that they're talking about in the teaching, the resistance that's making you want to go to sleep instead of listening to the importance of God's word. So that's what he taught about. Anyways.
So I'm going to stretch Micah a little bit. So first, do you remember what he talked about community with the shields? Do you remember that? But before you share that, so you're going to share that. And then tell us how this word is going to affect your life moving forward.
Okay. So back to the shield again. So what I remember about him talking about, because I didn't write a lot of notes about that specific part, but I'll go off my memory. So he said that the shield back in the day, their leather shields were also this tall and this wide. And he talked about how, the shield isn't just to protect you, it's supposed to protect the people around you and others and stuff. And how in actual wars, there'd be a team of people with shields and they all would hold them up together to make a force field around the entire army. So, you need to know that you're not just protecting yourself inside of this war, you're protecting your family, your friends, people who aren't saved, and trying to get them back to Jesus. That's what I remember about that specific part. So when he was talking about the bicycle, a lot of the times I'm not really the type of person to go talk to a random stranger, well, at least not anymore, and ask them, say do you know about Jesus? Or go out and talk to someone from school and be like, hey, Jesus this, Jesus that. But God is telling us with the pedals of obedience that I need to be going to those people when he tells me to, and following my Jesus impulses whenever he asks me to, so that he can steer me in the right direction on the path of God. Okay.